Hey, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be coloring this super cute Stampin' Bella image called Twirl, and this image also comes with the little sentiments. That's kind of an extra bonus. I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I've used. I would love for you to come over and shop with me, and there are lots of other things in the store besides card kits, so make sure to go over and check it out. I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink, so let's color. So let's start out by outlining our image with C00. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to start right down here at his leg. And I just want to do a quick once around all the way around my image. And you can make your line as skinny or as fat as you want. It's just to give it a little bit of dimension so that he will pop off the page and not look like he's just sitting there flat. So I'm going to work my way around this little tufts of hair and down the other side. And then I also want to do these little swirls he's got here, so I'm just going to color right over the top of those and make them wider than the actual stripes. Give those a little bit of dimension too. Next, let's work on the ground, and for that we're going to use E43, E42, and E40. I'm going to start with my E43, and I want to just give him a little bit of shadow, but I'm going to go up here and start behind his leg a little bit so it doesn't look like it's quite so flat. And I'm going to work my way around this shoe. I'm going to bring this line out here a little bit because his foot's sticking out. And I'm just going to work my way around this other side. Now I'm going to bring this side out a little bit too, since his arm's kind of sticking out there. Then I'm going to go with E42. I'm going to go right over the top of that previous color and swipe out past so I can soften the edge. And then I'm going to grab E40 to bring it out even further. And then I like to go back with my darkest shade, which was E43, and just put my shadow back in just a little bit. So it's not quite so toned down. Let's work on coloring our koala now, and for that we're going to use W5, W3, W1 in our colorless blender. I'm going to go ahead and start with my W5, and let's start down here on his lower leg. So I want to add some shadows right along this bottom, the back side of his leg. I'm just going to flick away from his leg and bring that color in a little bit. And then I also want to add a little bit of shadows here on the front, so I'm going to go ahead and do that same flicking along the side here. And I'm going to bring that down along this curve that's right here. And then because his leg's kind of sticking out over this section of his leg, I'm going to go ahead and add a little color right here on the top. Next I'm going to grab W3, and I'm just going to touch down on top of my W5. And I'm going to bring that color out here into the middle. And I'm doing a flicking motion, so my color is darker when I set it down, and as I pull my pen away, kind of like a little check mark, my hand automatically picks up and it's lightening as it pulls away from it. Next we'll go W1. We'll fill this section in. I'm going to leave a little bit of a white space there because I want to go over it a second time. So I'm going to grab W5 again. And then I'm going to go with W3. I think I'll pull it past the last time I put the W3 down. Get a little bit more shadow over here. And then I'm going to fill it in with my W1. Like that. And then I'm going to wait to use my colorless blender to the end. Let's go over here and do the other leg. So again, I'm going to start with my W5, and let's add a little bit of shadows down here at the bottom. And then he's got a little crease in his foot right here that I'm going to put a little bit of color on. Then I'm going to grab W3, and we want to bring this color past that. Touch down on top of your W5. Also soften this edge just a little bit. And then W1. I'm not going to go all the way up because I want to again do it a second time. I'm going to go with W5 again. And then W3. And then W1 to fill it in. Next, let's go up here and work on his arms. Let's start on this arm over here. So again, grab your W5. And let's do a little bit here along the edge. And then I'm going to give him a little bit of a wrist right here by dipping my pen in a little bit further. And then we're going to grab W3. And again, I'm going to exaggerate that little wrist spot. W1. And then back again with our W5. W3. And finally our W1 to fill that in. This arm, so again W5, and let's give him a little bit of a wrist right here, and then he's got his little elbow, so I'm going to dip that in a little bit further, and then W3. W1, back again with W5, W3. And then fill it in all the way with our W1. Next, let's go up here and work on, let's do his ears. So again, we've got W5. I'm going to add a little dab of my dark right at the edge. And let's go ahead and do this side over here too. And we're going to go with W3. And then W1 to fill that in. So I'm going to kind of, the hair's kind of separated out here, so I'm just going to kind of go in between it a little bit. Okay, that's good for our first coat, but I'm going to maybe come back later and do the second coat. So now we're going to go with W5 again, and I want to do from my ear down along his face and back around to the other side. I'm going to go right along here with my small line. And I want to bring this side up even with his ear on this side. And then I also want to do, I want the light source to be coming from over here, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a shadow here on the other side of his nose. Next I'm going to go with W3. Let me tip my guy a little bit here. W3, we're going to brush down on top of our 5 and flick away. And I'm not worried about it being too even because remember I'm going to go over it a second time. And next is W1. Bring that in here a little bit. And let's add a little bit around his nose right here. Okay, again I'm going to grab my W5. Tip him a little bit more here so I can flick a little bit better. He's got a little puff right where his cheek is right here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my pen in just a little bit there. I also want to do his ears a second time now, so I'm going to go ahead and brush those. And I also want this, he's got some hairs right here. I'm going to add a little dark color on there. I'm going to turn him this way. And again, we're going to get his ears and this little dark fuzz he's got growing there. And we're going to go right back up this other side. And again, here's this little cheek, so I'm going to bring my pen in a little bit more. And I want to do this side of his nose a little bit better. Next, we're going to grab W3. And then we're going to fill it in with our W1. Get his ears real quick so I don't forget those. I'll give one more brush with this right along here. Okay, so I'm liking that. So now, after I've gotten it all colored, I'm going to take my colorless blender, and I'm going to go back and add some dots. So let's just start down here at his leg, and I'm just going to take my pen and pounce it up and down around on his leg. Okay, and I'm going to let that dry a second, so I'm just going to continue around doing his whole body. And then I'll come back and see what kind of dots it has on there. And I may have to do it multiple times, and the harder you push down on your pen, the more ink you're getting on there. So if you want small dots, just do little ditty dabs. You let it dry, and you can kind of see it on his face. I can see a little bit better. But on his leg down here, I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Some more dots. And his arm, same thing. I'm just going to continue and do his whole body one more time because I'm liking how those are turning out. Maybe get a couple over here on his ear this time. And you just add as much of that as you would like until you have as many kind of dots and blending in area as you want it to look. For the inside of his ears, let's use E93, E00, and E000. I'm going to start with my E93, and I'm just going to flick that here in the center. And same for this side. We're just going to go right over that E, or that W5 we laid down, and just brush right over the top of it. Next I've got E00. And this side. And then E000 to fill it in. And I'm thinking I want to pinken that up just a little bit again, so I'm going to take my E93 again and go over it a second time. Just make it a little bit pinker. E00. And then my E000 just to soften it. So for the nose, we're going to use C8, C6, and C4, and it looks like I forgot to write it down on the instructions, so I'm just guessing on these colors. But we're going to start with C8, and let's go right along this side of his nose, and then come in on this little curve he's got right there. Add a little dab over on this side. Then I'm going to go with C6. And we'll soften that edge. And then C4. I'll leave a little bit of white there because I want to go over it a second time. So again, I'm going to grab C8. C8's pretty dark, so you want to be careful. I'll maybe bring a little bit of that down here. C6. And then C4 to fill that in. Now let's do the alternate stripes on his outfit and his shoes. And for that we're going to use R22, R21, and R11. Let's go ahead and start down here at his shoe first. So I'm going to start with my R22. And I'm going to give a little dab right along the edge of the bottom. And for this side, I'm going to go ahead and do this entire bottom section up here a little bit. Then R21. You want to touch down on top of your 22. And pull that color up a little bit, softening your edge. And then you're going to fill it in with R11. And that's all I'm going to do for those cute little shoes. And then up here on his outfit, again, we're going to start with R22. And we want to pick alternate stripes. So let's start at his sleeve. I'm going to do this first stripe. And then let's do this top stripe. skip one, skip one, and let's see, I think I did, for this cute stripe, I made it really big and went around his hand like that, so that this could, entire section there could be a stripe. And then let's do this sleeve. And I'm going to skip one, and we're going to make this back section pink, like that. And then down here, let's see if I script this one. So let's do this section. Skip one, make this big fat one here one. And then this, oh my, that's not very good. Let me see if I can clean that up. Okay, so let me grab my colors blender here. That just made a huge blob right all over the place. I don't think I'm going to be able to pick that up. No, that's just going to make it even worse. So in this case, I would actually start over, but I'm going to continue and finish the video and not worry about it. But evidently, when I refilled my pen, I filled it up too high. So let's go ahead with our R22. And we're going to go down around his leg here. And we want to work our way. So this was a stripe. And we're going to work on this section. And to prevent that blobbing, if you've refilled your pens, I just forgot that I'd refilled this one, is you could remove the other end of the cap and let it pressurize, and it'll suck some of that ink away from the end if it got too full. And then just leave it off for a little bit, and then just put it back on there, and it'll work perfectly fine after that. Okay, and then this one. I think I'll bring this color in just a little bit more. Okay, I'll put the other end back on the pen here. We're going to grab R21 next. We're going to go up here at the top and just work our way back around. And this is such a small area up here that I'm just going to fill that little section in. Same here, just got a little bit. I think I'll leave a little bit of white on that one. Okay, then we'll go down here to his body and work the ends of each of those stripes. Next, we're going to grab R11, and we're going to fill in those sections that we haven't filled in. And even though I did these already, I filled them in, I still like to go over the section with my last color. And for this one, I filled that all the way in, and filled that one all the way in. Then for the alternate stripes, we're going to use C2 and C00. I'm going to start with my C2, and we're going to go in here and add some of that color. So work our way back around to the other side. And then we're going to grab C00 to fill those in. You could also leave a little bit of white in the middle there if you wanted to leave a little bit of white space. The C00 is pretty light, so you could transition nicely from that. kind of blended that out a little bit with my gray there. So there is our beautiful twirl all colored up. And again, here is the finished card. If you have a question, make sure to leave me a comment and I will get back to you on that. I would love to answer all your questions. If you like the video, please hit the like button and share it with others. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that so that you will be told when a new video comes out. Otherwise, we'll see you next time, and I hope you had a great time coloring with me today. Bye!